Hey guys, Creator Mom. I think my video won't cut off this time, but I just was doing a little 10-minute yoga session just to open up the energy and chi and let go of tension and stuff like that. And it was coming to me about, more thoughts about self-differentiation, because I think I've been making videos about this all along, but I've been saying things like knowing yourself, whatever, being confident in yourself. Basically, and so Jerry Wise, again, like I was saying, has been helping me because that's what he focuses on. And he doesn't really go into how to do the work of self-differentiation too much, because I believe that's his bread and butter. He sells his programs, rightly so, whatever, stuff like that, to help and coach people through how to do this. And which is good, because if you're not used to doing this, it is not something that's going to come to you second nature. You know what I'm saying? I was telling my friend, I was like, I think that I have to walk around with a sign in front of my face saying self-differentiation to remind me about how to respond. Because when we're in these situations where self-differentiation is shining, those are the situations or tests or whatever, tribulations, where where it's just like, oh shit, oh man, I fell back into my old pattern. Oh my God, I forgot about the tools that I could use. Like I hear what you're saying, but I've made my decision. It's all about not becoming enmeshed with somebody else's problem. Like when other people try to make their problem your problem, whether they're taking a situation of yours and making it their problem and trying to say like one example Jerry was using was like, say a parent was like, oh, you're still dating that girl, or something like that, or excuse me, that was disgusting. Or they try to get you pulled into their issue. And anyways, my point is, I was laying on the mat and I was thinking about the guy that I worked with for a short time on that radio show, and how he was going off on me and going on a rant and berating me about how he's not wasting donors' money and he's not doing it again, trying to make me feel worthless. Like, I understand what he was communicating beneath the surface was basically like, I think you don't deserve to get paid shit unless you're bringing in the leads. So you better hurry up and bring in them damn leads, because we're not wasting donors' money. That's what he was, I believe that's what he was really saying. But he was saying it, in a different way. Like, we're not, I'm not wasting donors' money. I'm not doing, and if you're not on board with this, and then you just tell me right now, and we'll cut this thing off right here. When we weren't even talking about that. Like, I wasn't even confronting him about like not liking a certain thing or anything. I was like totally on board. Like, yeah, let's do it, anyways, so I was thinking about how, and this could go into overthinking and criticizing myself, stuff like that, but I was thinking, I wonder what it would have looked like if I would have been able to self-differentiate in that moment. See, because in that moment, he has a problem, right? He's under pressure and he's using donors' money, and we better get the results, and I think that's what's tricky about leads and sales and all that stuff. You have to really stay unpressured by your own choice, because your boss or whoever you're working with, they want you to feel the pressure, because they think that pressure is going to make you work harder and bring in the results, bring in the money, So, I could have been like, wow, I hear what you're saying, and that sounds like a really difficult situation that you're in. It sounds really hard. And then that's it. Then silence. Or like, that sounds really difficult. I'm going to continue to do my best in, the role that you've contracted me for. I don't know. Something to be like, hey, that's your problem. I'm not getting enmeshed with you in your pressure about donors' money. You know what I'm saying? You hired me or contracted me to do this job, and that's what I'm doing. And then if that person decides that I'm not doing a good enough job and they don't like my performance and they don't like the results I'm bringing in, then they have the right to be like, hey, we're ending this contract because we just don't feel like you're doing the right job for us. You know, you don't have to sit there and berate people and make people feel pressure and to get enmeshed with you so that they live a life under your anxiety and your pressure. It's like they want to give you their pressure and their anxiety, when really the fact of the matter is he needs to go sit in meditation and deal with that pressure of feeling like wasting donors' money and being afraid, or whatever his emotions are, you know, about that all, and not try to project it onto somebody else by trying to make them feel pressured and anxious because you want results. You know, you don't have to manipulate someone with that energy. But this is what people tend to do because they want to get the results and they want to make somebody feel pressured and afraid and coerced in a way. Like, in a way, not really coerced, because you have a choice to leave that place or whatever, but like coercion, you know, like saying the right things to press people's right buttons to get them enmeshed with your emotions or to manipulate them. Anyways, so I was just thinking about how self-differentiation is probably a great tool to use in the workplace as well. Don't fall under anxiety, because how many people work these jobs and they're so stressful and they take on the stress in their life and they become ill and sick, and you know, what's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to get fired, but you know you're still trying the best of your ability to do your job. I think we can make the choice to try to do it without the anxiety. But anyways, if you have a boss or somebody that's treating you that way, I mean, yeah, definitely make the decision of whether you want to, you know, get a different job, because, you know, there's got to be decent people out there. But this micromanaging and disrespect for people seems a little bit common, because I'm reading Indeed reviews for certain jobs, and a lot of people are saying that type of thing, you know. Being overworked, being micromanaged, and being treated disrespectfully. But yeah, like, how to prevent ourselves from receiving that enmeshment that bosses or people want to give us because they want results, you know. They need to, you know, it's just like, yeah, we want the results too. Like, we're on the same page, you know. You don't have to do all this to try to produce results, or you don't have to be inappropriate or unprofessional. Anyways, it just sounds like an overall good tool. But if a workplace is definitely toxic and you have to have meetings every day with somebody who's going to berate you every day, I think, yeah, it is probably good to take a step back and assessment. Like, oh, wow, do I really want to keep putting myself or exposing myself to this, you know, this stress? Like, even though I'm self-differentiating, it's still probably not extremely healthy to be yelled at every single day, you know what I mean, or berated every single day. It's probably going to start to wear you down at some point. But anyways, yeah, I just wanted to speak on that real quick.